Mary, did you know that your baby boy would someday walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new, and the child that you delivered will soon deliver you? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm a storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you've kissed your little baby, you've kissed the face of God. Oh, Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nation? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? And that child that you're holding is the great I am. we back on? We're back on. I tricked him. Yeah, I went to sit down. All right. We need some Christmas carolers. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Oh, come ye, glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. It came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven, gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing birds' joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Beautiful.
Wee. I love that song. I always wish we could take pictures of everybody with their little round mouths. Oh, yeah, perfect. Good morning and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all our friends near and online and near and far. We offer this Sunday morning, this Christmas Sunday morning, for a time of just relaxing and being. Mostly being together is the most important part. What do we say is the good? The good is what we define in our minds. But in my mind, it's a very good day, and being with you makes it especially wonderful. If every day were Christmas, says James Dillard Freeman, if every day were Christmas, how different life would be. Don't even try to imagine it. If not one day, but all the year were ruled by charity. Had we the faith in miracles a child has on Christmas morn, each day would be love's manger, and Christ would be reborn in us, again, to change and heal our outworn wars and ways. Had we a child's or shepherd's gift from wonderment and praise, yet every day is Christmas when we have learned to live by love's law, learn not how to get, but only how to give. And like a child can wonder, and like a child can pray, but have the grown-up wisdom to give ourselves away. Sweet, if every day were Christmas. And he says it is. So here we are. I wrote last night at midnight, actually. I think I posted just about midnight on Facebook, giving thanks for all the ways we are encouraged, all the ways we are taught, all the ways we are gifted. And in that posting, I was saying that for the people who are willing to take that step, to give something of themselves, something more, a thought, a word, a poem, a picture, something funny, something delightful. For anybody who's willing to share of themselves in that way, it makes the difference we're looking for in our lives. And so it is that we look forward, not just at Christmas time, but always, to what we experience as sharing. What is it that nourishes us? And how do we give that? As well as how do we receive it? How do we open ourselves to receive all that life is offering us? And in thinking of how do we open ourselves, it's always a matter of the heart. The living Spirit is born anew in me in the manger of my heart. The living Spirit is born anew in me in the manger of my heart. Together, the living Spirit is born anew in me in the manger of my heart. Sam's going to share her incredible daily word with us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas. Today's daily word is Christmas. With joy, I welcome Christmas. Far from home, Luke's gospel story tells us Mary and Joseph welcomed a child with only a stable filled with animals as a birthplace and a feeding trough for a cradle. This story reminds me that no state of consciousness is too humble, no station in life is too lowly, and there is no fear that cannot give way to wonder. Wherever it finds a willing, welcoming heart, the Christ will be born. No matter how I'm celebrating Christmas, I will carry this awareness with me today. Today I feel the dawning of promise and potential in me, as I feel the Christ presence within me afresh and anew. This is the greatest gift I could ever receive, and the best gift I have to give. From Luke's Gospel, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
How beautiful is that? What a beautiful daily word that is. So I have 50 stories. That's how it went. It was like, this one, oh, I don't know. This one, well, maybe. Well, that one, I don't know. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe something else. I don't know. But I did finally arrive at a story. But first, I want to share something else with you, if I can find out where I put that. Christmas explained to an anxious heathen. Robert Fulgham. You know, who else but Fulgham? You're not alone in your confusion about Christmas. Jesus never had a Christmas tree. Jesus never sang jingle bells. He never got to sit on Santa Claus's knee. He never got a present. In fact, Jesus didn't know anything about Christmas at all. If he were to suddenly reappear, he would be utterly baffled. That's me trying to be helpful to a young agnostic friend who is somewhat anxious and defensive about Christmas and what's expected of her. I told her that she and Jesus have a lot in common. Jesus never went to church or a Sunday school. He never had a Bible. He never owned a rosary. He never went to confession. He wouldn't understand about the Easter Bunny. He wasn't even a Christian or an American or a white Caucasian. He was born a Jew in a land under Roman jurisdiction, and he was confused and conflicted about the religion of his day. If he returned to Earth, he would be just as confused and conflicted about the religion and cultural Christmas tsunami of our day as she is. On the other hand, if he came to dinner at her house, she would like him. He'd probably help clean up. He liked good people, and she's one of those. He would like her. What is she supposed to do about Christmas? My advice is to just get simple-minded for a few days. Good is good. Go for the good. Look for the good. Notice the good and praise it. Try being as good as you can. That's a hit and miss proposition. A lot of good things are going on at this time of year. Be part of that. Don't be a victim of the dark side of human craziness. That also gets loose at this time of year, but that's not all that's going on. Getting together with friends is good. Singing with friends is good. Laughing and hugging and kissing are good. Giving those you love a present that makes your affection clear is good. Giving something to those in need is also good. Decorating the house is good. Candles and incense and some fir branches in the house. And a music box is good. Going outside late and night and looking at the stars is good. Being hopeful for a few days, that's good. Cookies and pies are good. Slowing down and taking life easy for a few days is good. Reflecting on what's good about your life is very good. Don't worry about the words of the Christmas songs. Listen to the music. Don't worry about the theology of Christmas. People always need something to explain the wonders of this life that are beyond them. Forget about the virgin birth. Every birth is an unfathomable miracle. Don't get anxious about angels hovering around like giant moths. Some angels are real. Some are young and lovely. We have one here. They just don't realize it. Don't worry about what everybody else does. Do it yourself your own way. Be kind. Be generous. Reach for the good in ways large and small. You may choose to do that. Don't worry about presents. Be as present as you can. Risk optimism. No harm in that. Most of us are doing the best we can most of the year, and this time of year we often try a little harder to love our neighbors and ourselves, and that's good. Don't miss being part of it. The culture gives us permission to celebrate each in our own way, and you may choose to do that. There's nothing illegal or immoral in reaching for joy when joy is in season. You can do it. You can do it. You can if you believe in yourself. It's like this. The good existed in the human race long before Christmas and will remain essential to the human race long after Christmas is gone. And every day and every night is sacred to those who believe that. Merry Christmas, he said. Isn't that lovely? And that is good, he says. That is good. So I wonder, on a day like this, you have left your home. I don't see a single one of you in your pajamas unless you wear the same thing day and night, in which case I don't know that you're wearing your pajamas. I wear nightgowns. It wasn't appropriate this morning to do that. A little chilly. But if you had a word to offer into the love light of this day, if you had a word or 2 words or maybe 4 to offer into this day, take a moment and think about what that might be. Let it just rise in your heart. And take a deep breath. And for the good of all, would you speak your word one? If your word would be family. Ward, you have a word? Breath. Kimmy, do you have a word? Sweet. I love that word. Betsy? Compassion. Valerie? Compassion. Gail? Love. Bobby? Peace. Dennis? Light. Light. Bright light. Yeah. Forgiveness. Courage. Thankful. Jerry, do you have a word?
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Trissy. Love.
Grace.
Grace.
Peace.
Peace. Sam?
Enough.
Enough. Denise?
Presence.
Presence. Presence with a C. Say again. Being. Richard?
Yeah, I am.
I am. Leslie? Grateful. Gary? Oneness. Good morning, Norma Jean.
Magnificence and devotion.
Magnificence and devotion.
Jim.
Say again. Devotion. Devotion. What is my word for the day? Acceptance. Always acceptance. Saying yes to the will and the where all of spirit at work in all things. Acceptance. that cultivation of the manger state of being, acceptance. The manger takes what it gets. And every birth in the manger is a sacred, holy experience and a sacred and holy moment. As Ireland sings, just go in and allow your heart, that manger of your heart, to expand, to soften, to open to the fullness of these blessings we've shared.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Oh, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Oh, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
And it was white. And then the rain came, and it went like, and then it became icy with water on it. And then it was like, oh, and then it was gone. What kind of lesson is there in that? Did it come to pass? And it came to pass, those words. It came to pass. We think of historical memory, or we think of dreams that we hold for now or in the future unfolding of time. And we know that each moment comes to pass. And that in the passing of these moments, we receive gifts that don't seem to be gifts. And yet, somehow, as we reflect and go deeper into that awareness state, the awareness of the goodness of life, we're able to find the good, the lesson, the learning, the unfolding in all things. Often with birth pangs, and often in the delivery process into a new state of being that is arduous and asks much of those who give birth. And part of what it asks is this openness in our trust of the process itself. This story, the story of Christmas, is about a process, an inner process. Not just an outer experience, but an inner process of new birthing and new living and new life. It's not the end of the story. The story never ends. It has come to pass. Reverend Dorothy Pearson, one of the longtime amazing unity ministers, wrote this: the celebration of Christmas is not just an event, it's a feeling. This morning, as I watched the clouds move across the sky and usher in a spectacular dawn, I suddenly felt like Christmas. I felt a sense of joy, a sense of excitement, realizing that the Christ was coming. The Christ was coming. I felt the quickening of the Christmas spirit. What is that feeling? What is that feeling? Surely it is love for life. It is that in all of us that tells us that we may make the effort to renew our sense of purpose in being, our purpose in life. If Christmas is anything, it's new birth. And that's exactly what the birth of the Christ is all about. It is reminding us that we live in a universe that is in the constant process of newness. It is God. It is the wonderful creative energy of love. And as we let this feeling transcend our human fears and worries, we feel an impelling need to give out of our greatness in the realization that it is God life that lives through us, gives through us, loves through us, giving our life purpose and meaning beyond measure. What is that Christmas spirit? What is the opening that we can find in that we would call the Christmas spirit? What did it take for Jesus to be born? Little or nothing. Do you remember that? The whole story is about traveling and mom and dad, no dad, dad, no dad. There's a whole big story about the whole drama of the Christmas journey. And we've lived it over and over and over and over and over and over again, depending on our age, depending on our history, depending on where we came from. We've lived this story over and over and over and over and over and over again in different facets and phases of our lives. We've lived this story over and over again. Who were you at 3 in Christmas? Who were you at 5? Who were you at 8? Who were you at 10? Who were you at 12? Who were you at 15? Who were you at 20? Experiencing Christmas in these facets. Who were you at 25 or 28 or 30 or pick a year, pick an age. Who were you then? And who are you now? This ever unfolding journey doesn't stop. Not because it's a story about Jesus, because it's a story about us, in our ability and capacity to entertain ever more of that Christ truth, which is the truth of our nature and our being. As she writes that, I had the feeling of Christmas spirit in herself, like a moment, an instant of feeling that totality. You ask, what did he have to do to be born? Well, we don't know what came before, who or what about his own journey. What about his journey through lifetimes, if we believe in resurrection, through culture and experience and unfolding, and at what point, at what time then was it the calling forth that gave birth to him in the form that we're taught to revere, to follow? Do we think that was it, that he had one birth? Do you think anybody has just one opportunity for new birth or new life? Do we think anybody in any place they find themselves has just one moment when they can wake up to this experience of truth and being and compassion and forgiveness and courage and transformation? Do we think we have just one chance to get it right if we knew what right meant? So there was a moment in time for a birth that has influenced our lives, our history, our knowing. But the most important place this birth can take place is, of course, in the manger of our heart. The manger of the heart, the place where the steady, ceaseless flow of loving perfection is always pouring forth, rising, flowing, overflowing, pouring forth as the light and the peace of the world. The manger of the heart. Think of it. Think of what that means in you. Wise men, shepherds, angels, songs, whatever the case may be. The most important part of it all is the birth we take into ourselves in the manger of our heart. The birthing into our own divine nature and into our own divine living and into the reality of who we are in truth in this world. And so in the manger of the heart, we open ourselves to place the divine beingness of us at that instant of new birth, asking, what is emerging in me What is it given this life at 5 or 3 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 70? What is it that this life, this born anew experience is bringing to life in me? And in the manger of my heart, I receive and hold with reverence and humility my oneness with the power of all life, the power of all love, the presence of all light. I give birth yet again in this new moment to that which I am, have been, and shall ever be. And so it is. Oh, yeah. A long time ago, when I was a new Unity person, attending my first Unity church with this incredible spiritual teacher in Olympia, Washington, in 1973. She read a story called A Certain Small Shepherd. And in the time that I've been with you, in the Christmases I've been with you, I've shared it with you once before, only once before. So if you've heard it, just cherish it for what it is. It's about new birth and miracles. This is a story of a strange and marvelous thing that happened on a Christmas morning in Hurricane Gap, and not so long ago at that. I'm going to sit and read. I have left the platform. Well, at least the podium. All right, let's do story. You ready? Take a breath. But before you hear about Christmas morning, you must hear about Christmas Eve, for that is part of the story. And before you hear about Christmas Eve, you must hear about Jamie, for without Jamie, there would be no story. Jamie was born on a freakish night in November, when the cold moved suddenly down from the north on the Gap. Within an hour's time, the naked earth turned brittle. Live Fork Creek froze solid in its winding bed and lay motionless in its bed like a string dropped at the foot of Pine Mountain. Jamie's mother died shortly after he was born. And he slept and he ate and he grew, along with his two sisters, Honey and Sarah, who were 3 and 6 years older than he. When Jamie was 2, he could do all the things that other 2-year-olds could do, except talk. Father said, "Leave him alone. He gets what he wants by pointing. When he's ready, he'll talk." But even at 4, Jamie could not talk like other children. He could only make strange, grunting noises. One day, Jamie found a litter of new kittens in a box under the stairs. He ran to the corn patch to tell his father what he found, but how could you tell someone that you'd been feeling around in a box for a lost ball and your fingers touched something warm and squirmy, and here were these kittens when all you could do was grunt? Jamie started running. He ran till he came to the orchard, and he threw himself down in the tall grass and kicked his feet against the ground. One day, when Honey's friends came over to play hide and seek, Jamie played with them, and when it was his turn to count, Clive heard the funny noises that Jamie made, and he yelled to the other children, "Listen to Jamie!" And they listened, and they began to laugh. Jamie ran at Clive and fought him with his fists, and Honey helped him, and then Jamie ran to the orchard and threw himself down and cried as he kicked his feet against the ground. Father found Jamie there. "Jamie," he said, "there's a new calf in the pasture. I need you to help me bring it to the stable." After that, Father took Jamie to the field with him when he plowed. They lay in the shade together as they rested at lunchtime, and Father told him the names of the birds that floated lazily overhead and the wild creatures in the woods nearby. And one day, Father took Jamie to a specialist on the other side of Pine Mountain. The doctor told him that Jamie could learn to talk, but it would mean a special school and a long time, months, maybe years. "That's a long time," said the doctor. "And the pocket is empty," said Father. On the first day of school, the year Jamie was 6, Father gave him a book, a tablet, a pencil, and a new box of crayons, and took him to school. Miss Creech, the teacher, asked, "What will he do all day long?" "He will listen," said Father. Well, Jamie learned words on the pages of his book. He learned numbers, but the thing he liked best was drawing pictures on the big sheet of paper that Miss Creech gave them every day. He could say things on paper. One day, late in November, Miss Creech told the children that it was time to assign the parts for the Christmas play, which was to be given on Christmas Eve in the little white church that stood just across the road from Jamie's house. Jamie had been looking forward to this. He wondered what part Miss Creech would give him. He listened while she told Joan that she would be Mary and Henry was to be Joseph. She asked Honey to bring her big doll to be the baby, and Clive was the innkeeper. Sarah was to be an angel. She chose 3 big boys to be wise men and 4 others to be shepherds. She named the boys and girls who were to be the people of Bethlehem, and the rest of the children were to be carolers. Jamie listened to the words. Yes, Miss Creech expected him to sing carols. Well, the children went down to the church every day to practice. Jamie stood quietly in the front row the first day. The second day, he stood for a while, and then he shoved the girl next to him. And the third day, he pulled Honey's hair. And the fourth day, he ran to a ball that was in the window and began to bounce it on the floor. "Wait a minute, children," said Miss Creech. "Jamie, how would you like to be a shepherd?" "He's too small," protested some of the children. "No, he isn't," said Sarah. "If my father was a shepherd, Jamie would help him." That afternoon, Jamie rushed home, tried to tell Father. Father couldn't understand, but he knew that Jamie had been changed into somebody important. One afternoon, at play practice, Miss Creech said, "Children, forget that you're Joan and Henry and Sarah and Clive and Jamie, and remember that you are Mary and Joseph and an angel and an innkeeper and a shepherd, and that strange things are happening in the hollow where you live. That night, Father took the Bible off the table and read to the children as they gathered round the fire. Over the room a hush fell, and he read, "And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into the heavens, the shepherds said to one another, Let us go even now unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which has come to pass, which the Lord has made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in the manger. In the evening, as Christmas grew nearer, the children made decorations for the Christmas tree. They made paper chains and long strings of popcorn. Every night, Jamie added more kernels to his string as he listened to Father read from the Bible. Jamie, are you trying to make a string long enough to reach to the top of Pine Mountain? Honey said. But Jamie didn't hear her. He was far away on a hillside tending sheep. And even though he was only a small shepherd and could only grunt when he tried to talk, an angel wrapped around with dazzling light was singing to him and telling him of a wonderful thing that had happened in the hollow in a cow stall. The next day, Father went across Pine Mountain to the store, bought some material in 4 colors, green, gold, white, and red. He brought the material home and asked Sarah to make a coat for Jamie, like a shepherd coat in the Bible picture. He went into the woods and found a crooked stick and made a shepherd's crook for Jamie. And 2 days before Christmas, 2 of the fathers brought down from the mountain a large juniper, which was set up at the front of the church where the play was to be given. The mothers helped the children decorate the tree with the colored paper chains, red apples, and the long strings of popcorn. At the top, they placed a large gold star. As they started out the front door, someone shouted, "Snow! It's snowing!" And it was. The next morning, Christmas Eve, the world outside the window had disappeared. There was only snow as it blew in drifts, and everything was covered. The fences, and the wood pile, and the swing under the tree. "You can't even see across Live Fork Creek," said Sarah. "You can't even see the church," said Honey. And Jamie looked at them with questioning eyes. It had been snowing hard that day and the night before. If it had been snowing in Bethlehem, Jamie the shepherd wouldn't have had his sheep out in the pasture. They would have had them in the stable, and they wouldn't have heard the angel if they had been indoors, would they? When angels have something to tell a shepherd, said Father, they can find him anywhere, in any kind of weather. And if the shepherd is listening, he will hear. At 11, the phone rang. The storm had blocked the roads, and nobody could get out. There would be no program that night. Jamie was sick at heart. He couldn't eat his dinner, even when Sarah said he could have some of the Christmas cake today and not have to wait until tomorrow. Jamie thinks he's a real shepherd, don't you, Jamie? It wasn't real. It was just a play we were giving, like some story we made up. Jamie could control his sobs no longer, and his little body heaved as he ran to Father. Sometimes, Father told him, angels say to shepherds, be of good courage. The storm raged through the afternoon. Jamie walked to the window and stared. Then he motioned for his father to come and look. Lord, have mercy, said Father, as he watched two people push through the snowdrifts, their heads lowered against the wind and the flying snowflakes. They made their way to the back door. Father opened the door to them, and a gust of snow-laden wind whisked into the kitchen as the man and woman entered. Come in out of the cold, said Father. Father pulled chairs out for them. The children stood around him as he talked to them. They had come from the other side of Pine Mountain. They were going to her sister's. They had stopped at 3 houses, but there was no room for them. Maybe they could sleep in the stable that night. We can put pallets on the floor, on the kitchen floor by the fire, said Father. The woman looked at the small bed where Father slept and the trundle bed under it where Jamie slept and shook her head. The stable is better, she said. It's cold, said Father. It will do, said the woman. When the two had warmed themselves and dried their clothes, Father took an armload of quilts, the old buffalo robe, and led the way to the stable. You fixed supper, Sarah. When Father came in again, he ate hurriedly and took the kettle of hot water and a lunch bucket of hot food for the man and woman. He told the children to hang up their stockings and go to bed because he would be gone for quite a while. The girls hung their stockings, but Jamie only sat and stared at the fire. A strange feeling was growing inside him. This night was weird. This night was not like other nights. Something mysterious was going on. He felt afraid. He lay down on the bed with his clothes on. Was that the wind he heard? It was only the wind. He dropped off to sleep. The rattling of the door woke him up. He looked around. His heart beat fast, but nothing had changed. The 2 stockings were there. Father's bed had been turned down, but Father hadn't been home. What was that? It sounded like singing. There it was. He heard it again. It sounded like, what? Glory to God. Peace on earth. His breathing was hard. Did he really hear it, or was he only saying it to himself? He lay down and pulled the quilts over his head. And all of a sudden he heard Father say, "Get up, Jamie, put your clothes on, hurry." But Jamie still had his clothes on. Here came the girls pulling on their coats and mittens. Father helped them with their overshoes. "Where are we going, Father? To the stable?" The stable was not a fit place, said Father, not when the church was close by with a stove and coal for burning. Into the silent white world, the children followed their father, walking in his big tracks. The snow no longer fell. The clouds were lifting. One star in the vast sky, its brilliance fading in the glowing light, shone down on Hurricane Gap. Wonderingly, the children followed Father into the church, and there, beside the Christmas tree where the play was to have been given, they saw the woman. She lay on the old buffalo skin covered with quilts. Beside her sat a man. The woman smiled at them. "You came to see," she said. Sarah went first and peeped under the cover. Honey was next, and then it was Jamie's turn. Jamie took a quick look, hesitated, turned, shot down the aisle of the church, down across the road to the house. "Let him go," said Father, as Sarah started after him. Jamie rushed into the house, pulled his shepherd's robe out of the box, put it on over his coat. He grabbed up his shepherd's crook. He started back but the door. When he happened to look toward the mantel, he saw that there were 3 stockings hanging. Who put his up there? He went to it. And yes, there was the orange that was always there. And yes, there was the dime in the toe, as always. He emptied his stocking on the bed. He grabbed the orange and the dime in one hand, his shepherd's crook in the other hand, and made his way across the road to the church. Father saw him coming, the only spot of color in that white world. Jamie came in, looking neither to the left or the right. At the pallet, he dropped to his knees. "Here's a Christmas gift for the child," he said, in a voice clear and strong. "Father," gasped Sarah. The woman turned back the cover, and he laid the orange by the tiny hand. And he said, "Here's a gift for the mother," as he placed the dime in the woman's hand. Father, trembling with wonder and joy, fell to his knees beside Jamie. Sarah knelt too, as did Honey and the man. "Surely," the woman said softly, "the Lord lives this day." "Surely," said Father, "the Lord does live this day and all days, and he is loving and merciful and good." In the hush that followed Christmas in all its joy and majesty, that day, Christmas came to Hurricane Gap. And it wasn't so long ago at that. I have the original Gestetner version of this story. I've had it since 1973. So how many years is that? Yeah, a long, long time. Miracles came that day. Miracles come every day. Miracles are present in the place we find ourselves in the midst of what we perceive to be our limitations or obstacles or the things we don't understand. Miracles come. Miracles don't always look like little boys who regain their speech, but they come in the form that we need them, in the moments that we open ourselves and open our hearts to the full experience of Christmas. In this day, this Christmas day, things are different. We've been changed. We don't see from the same place we saw 2 years ago or 3. We see with different eyes, and we've seen that there are many things available to break our hearts. But we can see with eyes that there are so many things to mend our hearts, to lift us up, to be present for us in the moments where we find ourselves. Christmas came to Hurricane Gap that day. But it comes to us when we allow it to be born anew in the moment where we find ourselves. So when those individuals say, I felt like it was Christmas, or I felt the feeling of Christmas and then expand it. No, I felt the spirit of Christmas and knew that it was not contained in one day, but was present with me always. In every tradition, there are stories to inspire individuals to continue to walk the journey, to continue to travel, and to find the wonder and the mystery that presents itself along the way. It's my joy to travel with you on this Christmas day. Our Christmas is very different. We've done it very differently this year than ever before. And in that, we have let go so much over these last years. It calls us to be different in how we do what we do. And it's easy to feel as though we've lost something rather than we're gaining something. Something wonderful is present in each of us. It is that which we honor on this Christmas day. May it be so always. May it be so always. Merry Christmas, friends. Shall we sing? We got songs. We got the second part of the Christmas medley here. Want to stand up? Do big voice? Come on up.
The first Noel, the angel did say, was too certain for shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 Noel. Born is the King of Israel. The herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching for silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, Jesus Christ is born. Shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angels' chorus that hailed the Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Uh-huh. You guys are very good.
Let's share our tithes and love offerings and prepare to go to the world. I knew that. I have a perpetual echo. It's called me, talking to me. You know, it is how it is. Yeah, every day a new day. As we as we share our tithes and love offerings, we do so in that true spirit of abundance. Today is a day of pure and perfect abundance. We look at the world and we see an appearance of lack. Here, there, around the corner, over there, in that country, in that place, in those lives. We see a lack, and yet there can be no lack where there is spirit, and where there is spirit, there can be no lack, and where there is spirit is everywhere. And so it may not show up as flourishing, it may not show up as cash in the bank, it may not show up in the way that we claim abundance would show up if it was present. And nonetheless, abundance is always present when we look for it. In those words you spoke, in your willingness to offer the love and the light of this moment in time, in your willingness to give, to share, to be that light in the world, which only you can be. You open the doors, the windows, and the good pours in, and just what you need is present as you need it. We offer blessing to this world in this moment of Christmas. We offer blessing to this world, to the planet we inhabit, to all that live here, all forms of life, to every child born in a manger today, for every heart that does not yet see the light, to every form of life in its ever-evolving, divine, creative expression. We offer our thanksgiving and our praise and our gratitude. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. And so it is. Let's share our prayer for protection, and then let's close the service this morning by singing together Joy to the World. All right, here we go. Let us bless. Let us bless us and all others. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And remember, next Sunday is the Burning Bowl, and White Stone is on January 8th. So we hope to see you for one or the other, or both, if you can. And for those of you online, we bless you. Thank you for being with us. If anybody has prayer requests, prayer needs, and you wish to give them, the prayer team is ready and waiting at all times to hold that humble place of knowing that divine order is perfectly at work. In the room, fill out a prayer request, put it in the box. Online, unitysv.org. And if you wish to donate for that which I'm talking to the people online, for that which you receive, you can go to unitysv.org and give online. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. We love you, we love you, we love you. Bobby, you were going to say something.
Oh, just that one will be held next year, next Sunday.
What?
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday would
It'll
be
be
next
next
year. And isn't it coming quickly?
It is.
So yeah, prepare yourself. Having said all those things, Merry Christmas, friends. Let's stand and sing Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ. The fields and floods, brooks, hills, and plains. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy.
Well, I was going to say Merry Christmas.